Hi, I'm Kunal. I'm on the Chai with Champs podcast with Ritika Agrawal.
Hi, I'm Rianjali. I'm on the Chai with Champs podcast with Ritika Agrawal.
Welcome to the Chai with Champs podcast. This is the center stage for South Asian cinema. I'm your host, Ritika Agrawal, and I'll be sitting down with Oscar-nominated producers, award-winning directors, actors, composers, influential film critics, and more who are shaping the future of South Asian cinema. Chai with Champs is sponsored by Sunblue Sound, a visionary audio production company that specializes in post-sound for visual media. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chai with Champs podcast, Season 3. I'm here with Rianjali and Kunal. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
This is such a full circle moment.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is such a full circle moment because I had you in Season 2 and I've heard so much about you. So I'm like so excited to dive more into what you guys have been doing and your journey so far. But before we get started, I always have my guests tell our audience who they are and what you guys essentially do. So I'll let you go first, Ria, and then you, Kunal.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Sorry, I'm like biased throughout this episode.
This is always, it gets harder every year because I'm like, does this sound really cocky or is this awkward? I am a full-time composer. That's my day-to-day, but I've most recently turned into a film producer as of the last couple of years, I guess. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah,
Wonderful.
really, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
I'm an entertainment attorney.
Stop. I'm not going to take
Should
these.
Should we
Please
redo
restart. Please restart. What is this?
Okay. All right.
I said
all
it
right.
just so that Ria would
I think
get mad
both
at
of
me.
us, not both of us. I have done so many interviews where I'm used to just like saying the whole spiel. And now I'm just like, condense it. Okay. I started off as a domestic violence case manager, but about 9 years ago, I got an opportunity to work in the music space. I've always been singing since I was a kid, but it wasn't really like a realistic thing to do. And I started working for, some of you guys might know, A.R. Rahman.
Mhm.
And that kind of started my journey. And 10 years later, I am a full-time singer, songwriter, music composer for film and TV, and a film producer and co-founder of Mild Mannered and Timid, our production company. That was better.
That
I
was
That
think.
so much
sounded
better.
good. That sounded really good. I started as a shithead and slowly found my way to becoming an attorney. So I'm an entertainment attorney. That's the worst way to start this. Hold on, I'm thinking. Okay, look, so I'm an entertainment attorney. I'm a producer. I'm a co-founder of Mild Mannered and Timid. I am a rapper. And I think that's it. Yes, that's me. Yes.
Well, we're
Yeah.
going to dive into each one
Yeah.
of those so much
Yeah,
more
yeah,
because that was like such a surface level answer.
I always
Yeah.
ask Ria, like, did I catch it all? Like,
You
'cause
caught
she's
it
the
all,
one
but
who's
there was no
usually
depth
mad.
in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get there. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. Well, we're going to dive into it right now.
Yeah.
And the first thing is that, like you both said, you both have built a decade-long career in music, film, you being an entertainment attorney and just so much more. What was the business model that you both aligned on when you both started to keep this sustainable and then also prevent from a financial and an emotional burnout?
So, no business model, zero. We had
yeah.
no thought. We were just like, we want to make cool shit. I think that's
Yeah.
what it was.
I think now we have more of a business model, so to
Mhm.
speak. But when we first started, the both of us connected on the fact that we wanted to make shit and nobody was doing it and nobody was like jumping on board as easily as like we expected. And I don't mean expected in like everyone should give us their time, but we were excited 10 years ago to make cool shit that nobody was doing. And we just thought other people would be just as excited.
Yeah.
And it turned out that they weren't. There was always a caveat or a price associated, which I understand, but there is a growth process being South Asian. I'm not going to make this about being South Asian in the entertainment industry, but there are some clear difficulties that come with that. And so the two of us were like, why don't we just do it on our own?
Yeah.
So it started off with just, as cheesy as it is to say, the passion of it, right? And both of us, I think at the time, maybe I had already quit my job.
Yeah.
But I was still working as a teacher, and we just started to make stuff together, and he was still going on his entertainment attorney path. So it was never a realistic thing for us to fully give up our day jobs.
Right.
Just because we didn't have that financial backing, And so a lot of it, to your point about financial and emotional burnout, I would say like Kunal and I emotionally burned out several times.
All the time.
Yeah.
We still
all
do.
the time. We still do. Exactly.
Yeah,
Now
constantly.
it just feels like a decade later, maybe we're like sort of used to this.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like I don't actually know what it means when somebody says, what is the business plan?
Right.
Because and I mean that like with all respect, like because in my mind, the business plan is you make money. Like
Mhm.
that's the business plan. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what more is intricate about that. And that's probably because I'm like the world's only non-business oriented Gujarati. But like,
So
I guess
true.
some
Not
people,
a single hotel.
yeah, no, we have no relationships, my
Oh,
family,
no.
with anyone who does anything like that. So everything I've done has been kind of like make it up
Yeah.
as I go. And my goal is to just like make a little bit of profit off of whatever I'm doing. But then the idea is that you have to spend to make. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna just be investing in yourself.
Yeah.
That's the business plan. It's not to wait around for somebody to give you money. It's not to wait around in general. It's just like you spend on yourself and hopefully one day you don't have to.
Yeah.
It
And
clicks.
yeah, and it clicks. And so I've had the privilege of having a partner who like inherently understands that. And so we just, and I'm pretty hard-headed about the shit that I like. And I think I've told Ria from the beginning, like I just like what I like and I'll go pursue that. Like if I like something, then I'll invest in making it happen. And I think that's what we should do.
Mhm.
And it's our gamble. And if the gamble at the end of our life didn't work out, that's okay. Like we still
Tried.
tried
Yeah.
and that's fine. And I only did shit that I liked, like
Yeah.
that really, if that I appreciated or that Ria appreciated.
As
Uh,
opposed to, I guess, just like bending over backwards for other people and being beholden to them.
Or trying to like really hone in on like, this is my business plan. I'm only going to do these type of films or these type of, no, I'm just going to do stuff that I think
Yeah.
appeals to me. Hopefully
It appeals to other
that
people.
appeals to
Yeah.
other people,
Yeah.
but I really don't give a fuck. And maybe it'll work. And then the emotional burnout, I think, honestly, that's a constant.
Yeah.
We go through
Yeah.
periods even now. Even if we find the most success on the planet, I wholeheartedly believe we will have moments of
Mm.
we're just burnt out from it and we have to
Yeah.
step away from it.
Yeah.
If you keep busting at creative stuff over and over and over, I just don't think it's sustainable. You
No,
have to
absolutely.
take breaks.
And you're going to
from
start hating that, which is not the
Yeah.
point of
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I want
Yeah.
to separate you two and talk about your journeys before you got together. Like, when did that seed of I want to make cool shit honestly come to be, right? And who were you before you even like started music and film? Could I let you go first?
I don't have an existence before Ria. So,
Damn.
who-
You were
Husband of the Year award.
no, what was the question again?
Who were you?
Who
was I
we
before?
met?
Before
Yeah.
you met Ria,
Music-wise.
and like,
I
what is
thought-
this cool shit that you wanted to do?
It was definitely music oriented
Mhm.
before anything. I just thought I would have loved to have been a singer.
Yeah.
I think it's palatable for Indian people to be a singer. That is completely fine. They have it so fucking easy. No disrespect to Ria.
Damn.
Because an Indian person can go singer. Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
To say you're a rapper is the most embarrassing, cringeworthy
And also
thing on the
imagine,
planet,
like,
especially
back
at the
then.
time when I was doing it.
Mhm.
Not to give away your age.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
no, but I've been thinking about
Should
this
have like
question.
a comment section. How old do you think?
Yeah,
Kunal
yeah,
is?
exactly.
The skin plan.
The skin plan.
Is
It's
that-
called
that's
skincare.
skincare.
Jesus Christ. The skin plan.
That's how I don't know. But
Sorry.
I've been thinking about this question for a long time because I'm old as fuck and I'm getting older. But yeah, back then I was just like, oh, I was writing poetry because this is what I do because I'm like a young Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. And then I was like, why don't I try and set some of this to music? That was literally it. It was just the thought that came to me one day. Why don't I do that? I was trying to impress some girl, I think. And I was good at that. I was just good at, like, I was on beat. And anytime I heard any other brown person trying to rap, A, it sounded corny, but B, they were never on beat.
Mm.
To this day, it's the same goddamn thing. And I was like, okay, at least I can do that. And that's where I started. I would just I would just make music. And I don't know where that came from. Rhea and I talk about this all the time because my parents were not even slightly influential in this.
Mhm.
In me being a person who's like, hey, meaning in me being a person who is like, hey, I like this, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
My parents are not like that. Like I said, they're not business oriented. They're not risk takers. My mom is actually, but
She didn't get a
nothing.
shot.
Yeah, she didn't get a shot, but nothing about them is like, oh, we're raising a go-getter. We are raising somebody who's gonna go do what they want. So where this comes from for me, I have no idea. Rhea and I talk about it all the time. I just decided to start doing that. So I was making music for a very long time. I would hang around studios. I would hang around people filming. Um, and that just became a part of like, I would love to do this. Initially I wanted to work for a record label because I just thought, yeah, I think I'm a very creative person and I think I could be helpful here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then what made you go from music to then being an entertainment lawyer?
Yeah. I mean, well, at some point I had to make money. And so like, I just, to this day, there are people out there who think I make a whole living off of rapping, which I think is ludicrous. But at some point, I just thought, I don't want my parents to be embarrassed of me anymore. So I'm going to try and find some. They always wanted me to be a doctor, of course. And so eventually, at some point, I was able to switch that to like, I like to read, I like to write, I like to speak. I think maybe I could be a lawyer. And or I could go learn what this is, because anytime I was in recording studios, and I love to say that like this was like racism working in a good way. Anytime I was in recording studios, if any of the guys I was around got like contracts or something, they'd go, Kunal, you can read this, right? Like,
Because he was a brown dude.
Because I was just like a brown dude there.
Of course.
And I was just like, no, I have no idea what this means, but I'll read it for you and I'll sort of common sense figure it out. And in my brain, I thought there's a gap there. And I think artists are the first people who get screwed every time. They don't know what they're signing away. They so want the success. They don't understand they can have some leverage, that sort of thing. So I thought, all right, I could kill two birds with one stone. I will go to law school. I'll figure out what it is that I can protect these artists from. And I thought it was easy just like that. My whole path to becoming an entertainment attorney was one of the hardest things I've ever done. So I just thought I'd graduate and be an attorney. That's not how it worked. And I think that's how I got there.
I'll fill in some gaps for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Before Kunal, I actually was nobody. And like, I don't even mean that to say like, oh, he's like, you know, the catalyst, but there was a lot of Kunal that was the catalyst. There were things going on in my life. I've been a singer since I was like 5. I mean, I've been learning how to sing. My dad was a very famous Bangladeshi folk singer back in Bangladesh. As we all know the story, he couldn't really do what maybe he wanted to from it, right? He had to come to America. And even then, though, we used to get like recognized because of our last name in like New York City taxi cabs, just because these Bangladeshi taxi drivers like knew who my dad was from back in their country. And he is one of the most talented musicians. He's the guy who can pick up an instrument regardless of what it is and just play it. And my dad did not teach me music.
That's crazy.
And it just kind of always goes like that. There's the similarities between my dad and I. Amazing cook. I learned how to cook from YouTube.
Oh shit. Okay.
Amazing singer, amazing musician. He did not teach me. We butt heads a lot, but we're so similar in so many ways. So he supported that music journey up until the moment that I started to sing American songs. My journey with that was also really interesting. I feel like as much as I've said I've lacked support my whole life, there were like little bits and pieces along the way of people who recognized something when I think like even I didn't. My junior high school teacher, I went to public school as all New York City kids do. And she saw me. I was such an introvert and like, I stayed in her classroom during lunch because I didn't want to be at lunch. Yeah. And so I would play around with her piano and I would like make stuff up and she would hear it and she's like, are you a musician? And I was like, no. But saying that you were learning Indian classical music at the time is not what you say to people back then. This is like, I don't know, 2002, right? 2001. You don't just like advertise that. It wasn't cool. We were embarrassed of being brown. And I'm going to admit that because I'm not anymore, but that's just how it was, right? She's the one who told me about LaGuardia High School. she's the one who, with the guidance counselor, like called up my parents and had a meeting with them to explain to them what LaGuardia High School is actually even is. She pushed me towards auditioning. I got in. I mean, I owe so much of like that start to that, right? Then there was LaGuardia, which I experienced Broadway and opera and things that like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old brown kid just doesn't experience back in those days.
Yeah.
But then college came around and it was back to reality. While most of my friends went off to conservatories, like that just wasn't allowed. So I finished my psych major. I started my clinical psych master's. I stopped singing almost entirely. I got polyps on my vocal cords. And then finally I got this surgery done. But by then it was like, I had sort of lost motivation. I was in a stressful job. I was convinced that the job was going to be my future, but also was very secretly tired. Like I was hiding. I guess the term now that I know is like masking. I was fully hiding who I was. I wasn't singing. And it was just day to day. I was very honestly going through depression and anxiety on my own. I think my best friend knew, and that's probably about it. And then I did the surgery and I met Kunal through a song that somebody said, hey, you should meet this guy. He's looking for a singer. Just do it. And I was like, you know what? I got my voice back after the surgery. I was like, I'm just going to say yes. And that's how I met Kunal over a decade ago at this point. And I remember him saying like, you're really good. Like, would you ever consider doing this full time or like, having a manager? And I'm just like, what are you talking about? This is kind of embarrassing, but he was like, do you want to produce a song with me? And I remember Googling like, what does it mean to produce a song?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know, I didn't understand. Meanwhile, he had all these like high quality videos. I always say about Kunal, like whether he had the support or not, he knew who he was a really long time ago. I had no idea who the fuck I was. I was like always trying to be somebody else or just hiding, people pleasing and just like being as small as possible. Something about when we met, I think just meeting another person who feels as strongly brought it out of me, right? Yeah. Then I got the opportunity to work with AR. That's like universe working in some other way. Yeah. And then that like fully opened things up for me because here I was working for like one of the world's greatest musicians and every day I was like telling myself somebody took a shot on me. I have to prove myself. And that's what it's been for the last 9 years.
Yeah. Wow. I love that you both kind of are each other's hype queens. It's so cute.
You're a hype queen.
I'm a hype queen. I am. I could add something to that though.
Please do.
I don't know. Again, me and Rhea talk about this all the time because I don't know when I became this person that I am now, which I think like Rhea will say, like sometimes I can be abrasive and like I can be very blunt about stuff and like.
And I'm the opposite.
And like and you're the opposite. And then somebody was like, somebody was saying like, Kunal's like a bro, like I'm a bro, they were saying it in a positive way though, like just I guess that there's a certain level of aggression that I bring to stuff, like a very manly sort of thing. and I only say that
alpha queen.
No, and I only say that to say like that was not the case. I don't know that that's the case today.
Yeah.
I was quiet. Nobody I'm not going to say nobody liked me in high school, but I was a loner. I used to do crossword puzzles by myself in high school. And
that's crazy. I was cooler than that in high school.
Yeah. And like I would sit in the cafeteria and I would do crossword puzzles by myself. But I do know that slowly people would come over by the end and they were just like doing them with me because that's the one thing that's always stayed true, I guess. Like, and my uncle hates me for this.
Damn, I'm just calling him out.
Yeah.
Fully.
Fuck that guy. He's always said that I've always, he'd always try to give advice.
Yeah.
People love to give advice. He'd always give advice. And he's like, you always just go, yeah. And then you do whatever you want. And I was like, yeah, that's what the fuck I do. Like, that's the one trait I've had since I was
slight
young.
Rebelliousness, really. Yeah.
I guess, but it was not in like some overt, like, I wasn't like smoking weed and doing drugs and like hanging out and doing all this shit. I just always.
This comes from your mom for sure.
I think
it was
so.
like a don't tell me what to do kind of thing. Because his mom is so much like that. She for sure would have been like an artist or something.
Yeah, hell yeah. She tried so many different things.
But
so that's it. That's I don't know. There's something there, but I'm still
it's
trying
more
to
about
figure
like
it
you
out.
do you at the end of the day. Like everyone has something to say, whether you do it right or whether you do it wrong. Like, but you just have to follow your own path at the end of it.
And it never stopped me. Like that's the only thing. And I don't know how that works because I'm not naturally like this.
Yeah.
Now you both are musically inclined and then have, done your own paths of corporate and then come back to it. Tell me more about MMT and how did you both get involved in film production?
I think we were sitting in our apartment in Jersey and we were sitting with our friend and we're just like talking shit. Genuinely just all the frustrations about being a musician, seeing the people that, look, I'm going to be really honest, throughout our whole career, like I'm not perfect. There were so many people that I would look at and be like, I don't get it, And if that's going to make people judge me, it is what it is. We're all human, right? I worked really hard and sometimes I felt like I didn't get what I deserved, right? Yeah. And then there were people who seemingly got it easy due to having like daddy's money or whatever it is. Listen, I wish I had daddy's money too, okay? Yeah. But
my daddy broke.
Exactly. Sorry, my daddy's broke. My daddy needs my money. But I don't know if this is getting cut. But
it should not. That should stay.
Anyways, I just, there were many times I felt like upset about it. So we were venting. We were talking a whole lot of shit about like, not just the industry, but then we would just, every time our friend would come over, we would just kind of talk about the nuances of being brown in like a funny way, like things our parents did. And I'm Bengali and the two of them are Gujarati. We grew up all very differently. So Kunal's always like wanted to start. He has like this book. I've always said he's got this book of ideas. And now it's cool because one by one we've checked them off. But back then it was just a book of ideas. And he was like, I've got no one to just like execute these with me. And podcast was one of them. And we just had the equipment. It was going to be the two of them. I legitimately just like entered myself into the room and started talking.
That's correct.
I kid you not. That's how I became the third host. So if you want opportunities, elbow your way in into your own house. And that's how we started Mild Mannered and Timid, which is a 5-year running podcast. It's a very like casual, funny take on funny but like very serious topics. We've somehow dove into India politics. And the reason for that, Kunal's always said, is our parents are always telling us, you don't know what's going on there. You're not born there. You're not raised there. So you don't have the right to talk about it. Meanwhile, like I think because of that, we educate ourselves like far more. Yeah. And so Kunal was like, you know what, I'm gonna educate myself. So we would have a segment where we would report on like Indian politics, and then we would go on to just a whole bunch of like pop culture related stuff. And somehow the podcast went all over the world, right? It was just supposed to be a podcast. Yeah. We did not intend on becoming film producers. I was supposed to stay a singer. Kunal was going to be an entertainment lawyer, rapper. And we just picked up a camera because part of his ideas was he was like, I just want to create things. I see stories. He's a storyteller, right? As a musician, as a songwriter, I am too in many ways that I just didn't recognize. That part of Kunal that says, I'm just going to do what I want. I started like catching on to that and thinking, yeah, like what is stopping us? Most of the time it was money. And so when we had like crappy cameras, we just go and do it because, he's said this before, the worst thing to do is just sit with something and want to make it perfect and never do it. So our first iterations of documentaries were like the crappiest quality you could probably find. But it got so much attention because you could tell the heart was there. Yeah. And that's how that started. It was never like, I don't even think we were in LLC till we got to LA.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We were not a fully
How long ago was that?
4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's about to be 5 years. Yeah. We were not even an LLC. We were just like, cool, want to like capture the story. The female priestess who married us for our wedding. We documented her because she was just super cool. And it's somebody that like, I think both of us have always felt like underdogs who maybe didn't have a place. And we gravitated towards others who had incredible stories to tell, but no one was clearly going to tell their stories. Yeah. And so that's how it really started. And then I think Saltwater, which was our first ever short film, like proper scripted short film with 25 cast and crew members and like a proper like $20K budget. When I tell you we were working with like $500 to $1,000 before, to jump from that to 20K was scary. Yeah. It was really scary. A lot of crowdfunding, a lot of our own money. own money that we probably should have used towards rent, you know,
Mhm.
but we did it regardless. And I think that's when it really, I would say Saltwater is when it started becoming like real. We won a film festival with the documentary about the priestess. People started to kind of build a community around it. And that's kind of like when you ask about business model, like things just happen. And I wish I could tell you I had more of a plan.
Mhm.
But here we are now. And I think because we've been doing it in that way, it's so clear and evident what our goal is now.
Mhm.
I feel like I spoke for the whole answer now.
No, but,
got
but
it.
how do you make those decisions of like where you're investing your money, right? Like what documentaries you're going after, or even Saltwater for that matter. When you're putting in money for a short film, why are you doing that?
That's for you to answer for sure.
That is, I take the valuable input of
Mm.
my wife, of course. But if I read something like with Saltwater, like I read it and I loved it. I thought that was really cool. And I just thought, yeah, I should make this.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's something like that.
It's like a gut instinct. I
Yeah, I
think.
guess it's just like an instinct. And again, I just don't care what the audience wants. Like
Mm.
it's just like I think it would be kind of cool. And so like I have a script now that I was reading right, like I was like, yeah, I like this. We'll just do this. But it wasn't really even a discussion. It was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to try and make this happen. And I have a call next week to make this happen.
Yeah, and then I go,
And
cool. What
Ria's
do I
like,
do
great,
next?
what do I
like,
do next?
what's my role? And I think because I think to have that though, you need to have like a significant amount of trust in each other's
Yeah.
decision making and
Yeah.
taste, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't think there's ever been a project that Kunal wants to do that I go, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And there's
I
very
read the
few
script
people.
for Portrait
Mhm.
and I told Ria, make this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I read that and was like, go for it. Like, let's do
Yeah.
this, And I didn't even know if she was asking me. She had like given me the script and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I really like this. Like, we should do this.
Yeah.
And then she went off and did it.
Yeah. And I
And
think
that's how
the
it
both of
works.
us, we kind of just now, because we're still a small production company, we try and helm projects separately and then bring it to each other
Yeah.
because of time and resources and all that stuff, but also because we now know what each of our strengths are. There are certain things that I have learned about myself, people that I can connect with, other kinds of people that Kunal can connect with. We both communicate in very different ways.
Yeah.
And so building relationships in the space has been really interesting because we kind of just like branch out, do our thing, and then we like come back home.
Yeah.
And
That's the best. Yeah.
yeah, as
Mhm.
opposed to like, you have to be involved in every single thing that I do and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I think like maybe we're just blessed that we haven't hit that place yet where it's like, hey, Ria, I just invested $100,000 into something. Sorry, I should have asked you.
Oh,
No.
shit.
we don't do that. Like
We
we
don't-
haven't
we don't do
gotten to
that.
that place
Yeah.
yet.
I
and
don't
we
see
haven't
you guys
done
doing that,
but I don't think
though.
we would.
Yeah.
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 Well, but it actually segues into my next question, which is really about like you guys are building your life together as life partners and then also business partners, which is like not
Yes,
easy.
Lover.
Oh,
It's such a gross word.
gross.
Such a foul word to say. Sorry, go
Don't
ahead.
ever say that
I know, I
again.
just
Okay,
wanted to say-
business lovers and life lovers. What best practices and boundaries do you guys have in place to kind of keep this afloat? And then also it prevents from, creative clashes and misalignments and things like that. Because it's definitely not easy. And you explain it really well about how you guys operate. But then I'm sure you put in best practices and boundaries in place. What was that like? And how do people find that when they're building something with someone else? Before we continue with the episode, I want to give a huge shout out to our official show sponsor, Sunblue Sound. If you've not heard of them already, they are an incredible audio production company that specialize in post sound for visual media. They've worked on a range of projects, from ad spots to television series to films that have been streamed on Amazon, Tubi, and in film festivals across the nation. The coolest part, this episode that you're listening to or watching right now has been mixed and edited by Sunblue Sound. Ravi, the owner, is a dear friend of mine, and I can vouch that he truly cares about his clients and embodies their tagline, engineering sound for visionary creators. If you're looking for audio mixing or sound design, reach out to them directly at team@sunbluesound.com. That's TEAM@sunbluesound.com. Now, back to the episode.
I think it was hard in the beginning because initially you get so excited that you go full all in. It becomes your life. And I
Yeah.
think that's the one thing
Yeah.
about creative
Yeah.
pursuits where we feel as I think I will be including my identity in this, because as a South Asian woman who didn't have the ability to do this before and I do now, I felt like really grateful every single moment of the day.
Yeah.
And I was constantly just feeling like I have to give every minute to this, otherwise I'll lose it. Like fear of losing what I'm building, you know, because it was never guaranteed. And I could never sit there and go like, I could take a pause for 6 months and it'll be fine. You know, I still feel that way now after a decade, and I'm trying to really like come back from that. But for a while, we just kind of like every day off, every weekend we have, let's do this. We're not being productive, either making an album or shooting something. We were like wasting our time, and that's probably part of the burnout that we had.
Yeah.
And I think now we just try and like we literally try and take like pauses from it. We'll go somewhere or like be like this weekend, just absolute no. I've really reduced the number of meetings that I have on the weekends. Like those hard rules that you just don't have when you're in your like 20s and like, you know, there's still that like major hustle, obviously, but now I'm just like, I have to respect my own time too, right? I guess that's the only real, like, I don't know that we've like super figured it out by any means.
I think you develop these as you go through life. But at least a big part of it was that like Rhea was getting overzealous, which is what I think she was saying with a lot of stuff. And I was being abrasive with a lot of stuff. And so I think we ended up being like, when she's being really overzealous, I'd be like, Rhea, calm the fuck down. I'd be like, chill out. Like, you need time for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you need time to just sit. Like, and we've turned that, and she would listen. And so that became like a kind of best practice. And then on my end, Rhea would be like, you can't just say shit like that to people. And I would actually listen to her. Whereas
I like soothe him down. You know what
whereas
I mean?
like with other people, I would not. But like she would say that, and then I would calm down. And it's led to me becoming better with how I communicate, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like those are maybe our best practices that we just kind of are.
We take a moment to listen.
We each are a block. We each are a block of rock. And we each have a chisel. So we are a rock that can chisel. And we are smoothing each other out.
What is happening right
You
now?
understand?
I
So we are
have no
sentient
idea
rocks.
what this analogy is, but that sounds great.
You.
This is going to be your best episode
Yeah, I
yet.
think so.
I absolutely love that. I've seen
Sentient
so many
rocks.
sides of Kunal in just like 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
Wait, but okay, tell me more about your music career. Are you still creating music? What is happening?
Yeah, I'm working on an album right now. I don't know whether I call this a career. I feel like I've had the career that no one witnessed, which is really fun. It's like it's really funny. Like when the music was just what was something that I loved, that I thought I could do really well.
Yeah.
I knew at the time I was better than everybody doing it that looked like me. And I just kept pursuing it relentlessly, no matter what, whether people liked it, whether they didn't like it, whether it was making moves, whether it wasn't. I forged such cool relationships with people that like really shouldn't be my friends in any sense. Like actual like movie stars and like actual musicians. I've done cool things like that because I think there's like a respect level. And so yeah, I've just been creating music forever. I always said that like I wish I could rap kind of like a Lil Wayne, who like that's not to say that he's bad, but like he can just kind of like create he can just rap about anything. Like, rap about that chair. And, like he can just rap about anything.
Yeah.
I think I was never able to do that. I was and that might be because of the artists that I gravitate towards, like a DMX, like a Pusha T, like a Nipsey Hussle, like people like that, who when they said something, they had conviction when they said it. Like I believed them, and that's always how I molded my music. So it was always conceptually about something.
Yeah.
It always had to be about something, and that may be why it didn't catch on. I don't know. But I continue to create, and like it's really cool that I can just call on people who like other people can't call on, and be like, "Hey, do you want to jump on this or what?"
You should for sure talk about how you are no big deal on like 3 major Bollywood tracks.
Yeah, I mean, I've done stuff like that. Like I
Talk
myself,
to us about it. Yeah.
I myself, know I'm good, but it's like sometimes. And this is very much my ethos with stuff too. Like you can have all the passion in the world, all the dedication, everything, and the timing just doesn't line up. That's fine. Like I've gotten past that. Like it is what it is. But I never started this in order to become a star. I started it because it makes me feel good. And along the way, like I was saying, like people like A.R. Rahman, I should not be he shouldn't be FaceTiming me and being like, can I get a verse from you? But he does. And so that's led to me being on 3 Bollywood soundtracks, which is really cool. Before that, I'm on a PlayStation game, which I just hounded the person who I found out was in charge of the soundtrack and was like, hey man, I've got songs. I kept bothering him. And then I sent him a song and it's on a PlayStation soundtrack. Russell Simmons, record label All Def Digital, released one of my songs out of nowhere. So I've done a lot of these cool things. I did an album with Rackstar, who's like a huge kind of like UK rapper.
Your recent
And then I
album.
did the most recent album with the guy who's the lead of the CBS Ghost show with Karsh Ambudkar. So like I do things like that. Like I just do shit like that.
You're so low key about
which
it.
is cool. Like it's really nice. Like I said, I don't know why these people are friends with me, but like, I just keep creating stuff. And whenever I get the itch to do something, I just do it. And so for the last like 2 months,
like 3 months now.
3 months
yeah.
maybe, every weekend, I'm just going to a studio I go back and forth between these 2 different producers, and I'm almost ready with another album.
And that's coming out when?
Honestly, it's got to come out before my birthday, which is
Yeah.
on July 29th.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is
so
it a significant birthday?
let's
You're not
hope so.
gonna- He's not going to say.
Not gonna say, but yeah, pretty significant. And I just want it out before then. But I think it is like, I can also be very, I can be very humble about it. But I can also be like, there's not another, like, if I was able to just focus on music, I would be a monster, like a monster. I work a job that is such pressure at such a high level. And then in my off time is when I'm doing my creative stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I had the opportunity to just focus, but I never did. And it is what it is. But I think that's one of the most powerful things about me, that I'm like, I can myself see that. And I don't know why this question veered off into something else, but I've told Rhea before, I'm like, the only thing that'll make me sad is that I know myself I had potential, and if I never reach it. And so I'm constantly pushing to just do everything I can, so that I can reach the potential that I think I have.
And what do you think is that potential?
I think I have that potential to just like have such a good taste level that I create things that resonate with people. And I have the ability to make a living off of that.
Yeah.
I think that's my potential. I think I've always been able to say what I want to say and not care whether that, like, and I think that's a trait. I think I have 2 things that are like really important for people to have. One is which you can't just have ideas, you have to execute. I execute on every idea, every single one. I may disappear for a little bit, but I come back and I execute because I think that's so important. The world is 99% people with ideas that don't do shit, right? But like you have to execute. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is what I just said before, which I forgot. And so that's what that is.
I feel like if Nike's watching this, they should like have you guys as ambassadors.
Just do it. Yeah.
I would love it. I would love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
to add to that, like there's not like a thing that he hasn't done yet. He's starting a clothing line. He hasn't like talked about it yet, right?
Yeah.
But we've been designing for almost like 6-7 months now. We
Oh,
have like the
wow.
pieces sitting in our place. He just likes to create, and like he takes photos with he takes photos, and they're gonna be in the clothing,
Yeah.
I'm writing a book,
He's writing a book, like stuff
Wow.
like there's just always
but I've been writing a book for like a decade.
and
It's
that's
just there. I
that's
have
also
chapters
fine.
of different things.
What is it? Can you tell more about what it is?
I don't know what it is. I think it's like I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's nonfiction.
Yeah. I just like, it's things that I think about. I've
Mhm.
just been writing chapters for
Yeah.
like 10 years now.
Wow.
And I think
I haven't
like
seen a single page.
Yeah,
by
she
the
hasn't
way.
seen it. It just
Yeah.
sits on my
What?
Yeah,
just
I haven't
sits on
seen
my
a single
computer.
page, and I don't need to until you're ready.
Yeah. I think one of the things is, I think maybe I might call it like a letter to the underachievers. I think that's what it is. Like the first thing that I wrote was,
This
called
is
A
the
Letter to
official announcement, you
Underachievers.
guys. We're going on a book release tour.
No.
No, yeah, there's just always, I think that's also what's taught me to not put myself in a box.
Yeah.
There is a very common saying, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
And not to like put my dad under the bus, but as a
Again.
brown dad, he used to say that to me a lot, because as a kid, I would be like, I want to play piano. I want to play guitar. I want to take photos. I want to do this. But none of those things were ever really, again, I'm not, at the time that I was growing up in, it was very hard for parents to be like, first of all, we didn't have the money for them to like buy me all of these things.
Yeah.
I got some of these things over time though. So they did their best, but
And the full quote is much better.
so later on, so my dad used to always say that he was like, you never really did learn the piano. You never really did learn the guitar. And as a composer, it's actually okay because composers learn like bits and pieces of all instruments.
Yeah.
And I've been completely fine. Would I like to further my knowledge? Yes. But when I got older, I learned that I think, don't quote me exactly, but I'm paraphrasing. It's jack of all trades, master of none is often better than, I'm forgetting entirely.
I don't
It's
remember.
often
That's
better.
why I didn't try.
Jack of
But
all
I'm
trades,
impressed with
master
you.
of none.
I'm impressed with you.
Often. We're gonna have to look this up.
We'll look it up.
But basically,
But
it's
right.
it's the opposite of the shortened quote,
Yeah.
which is it's actually better to have all of these trades under your belt. Is
Yeah.
what it's. We should actually look that up. Could you look that up for me? Research queen. But we'll get back to that. But yeah, when I learned that, I was like, I have been existing my whole life feeling like I am trying too many things, and that's why I'm not good at anything.
Yeah.
And I think especially in this day and age when every single entertainment industry space is so volatile, music is tough, film is tough, every space is tough, podcast industry is tough, everything is tough. Why not? Like, if you love it, why not try it? It doesn't
never
make
try,
you
you'll never know.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make me like, if I write a book, I'm not going to suddenly be like, hey, I am, the best author on the planet.
Yeah.
I tried something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people should take notes from me.
What's the quote?
Jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Boom.
There we go.
Done.
Jack of all trades is a master
Boom.
of none. But
Done.
see, I got the oftentimes right.
Yeah, you did.
But oftentimes better
Yes,
than a master
oftentimes.
of one,
Yeah.
which I had no idea. I should actually tell my dad that.
Yeah, you
I've
should.
actually never gotten this perspective before because
Yeah.
I feel this way so much. I
Yeah.
feel like I tried a bunch of things when I was a kid and like I'm not a master in any of them. I can
Mhm.
always say like, yeah, I know how to play the guitar, but like I don't know if I was giving up halfway point at a halfway
Right,
point, but
right.
I just like stopped after a point. But I
Right.
can pick up a guitar. And
Yeah.
there's just so many other things like that, but I never thought of it like that.
I had no idea.
I was thinking of it
Very
today when we were
eye-opening.
on our way over here. There's a school. This is very LA, but there's a school for children's entrepreneurship, like
Oh.
teaching
interesting.
kids to be entrepreneurs. And I thought of it while we were driving past it today, where I was like, I think when I think of having a kid, like I would never tell the kid jack of all trades, master of none, because I think that's fucking cool. Like you should try things.
Mm-hmm.
You should try everything. And then I should be so lucky that you find something that makes you so happy that you dedicate yourself to that.
Yes.
That's the time
Exactly.
to
That's
do
the
it
way
when
to do
you're a
it.
child.
When you're a child
Yeah.
is the
Yep.
time to do it. And I didn't understand. Like, I don't know. I was legitimately thinking about that on the way over here,
Yeah.
where I was
Yeah.
like, it's a weird concept because I think we've all heard that jack of
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
trades, master of none. It's so ass backwards.
It was a way, I don't know, it was maybe coming from, my dad's feeling of wanting me to stick to something, which I can totally understand and believe in. But at that age, you're
should be so
supposed to
lucky.
explore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should
Yeah,
be so
exactly.
lucky.
I mean,
It's
how
not
can you
forcing it.
decide what you want to be when you're
Correct.
like 4 or 5 years old, right?
Right.
No, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I love about both of your journeys is that you really did it yourselves and you didn't take no for an answer. You created your own opportunity, which is so inspiring, but it's not easy. You did it when there was no blueprint and you really just carved that path for yourselves. How are you using your platform now for other first timers? And talk to me more about like mentorship and opportunity now that you have the power essentially.
It's great that you say we have the power because we never feel like we do. Actually, it always just
That's a
feels like,
lie.
no, it genuinely just always feels like you're going to be a step behind. But I think that's just now, I accept that as just a part of being an overachiever who never got a pat in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just end up being this like,
We're goalpost movers.
yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
like,
when you're so ambitious,
yeah.
you're going to be work in progress like all the
All
time.
the time.
constantly.
Yeah.
All the
I
time.
think it's important to step back to actually acknowledge that you've done some shit because
Mhm.
otherwise you can get lost in that. But as far as mentorship, I think I've always wanted a team. Because it has been a very solo ride. Even with me and Kunal together, it sometimes still feels very solo, right? Most recently, I think with Portrait, that felt like one of the first few times I had the ability to really like put my time, energy, and money and everything into someone else's, because we didn't write that. We're not writers, but we usually like the person who's the writer director was a brand new person to me
Yeah.
when I met her. And at the time, there was nothing but just, this is a good script. And pouring my all into that, seeing where it led to, because we were, I can't talk about it too much, but we were able to, get financing for it. We were able to get like incredible actors on it that have like huge names and executive producers that we could have not even like dreamt of. And it really feels like it went from 0 to 100, but I think this is like a culmination of years of just me and Kunal just doing it. Hopefully people going like, wow, they don't quit, right?
Yeah.
And then, right, people come along and go, I'd love to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It just never happened before. So in that moment, I was like, I have some ability to, pull on people that I could maybe just give an opportunity to, and I've never felt that way before. And it's been really rewarding, even on the music side. I was able to give a couple of opportunities to assistant composers recently. And I didn't think I was going to be in that position. I think people have been asking me for mentorship. I did a lot of calls in the past for years now. I always felt like an imposter giving advice that I haven't even figured out yet. This may be the first time where I feel like the calls are less. I don't take as many calls anymore, but now I can like actually prove it with some action by actually hiring people.
Yeah.
And that's really been the start of it. I think, opportunity and mentorship looks like giving people literal jobs.
Yeah.
And if you have the ability to do that, like stop talking, give them actual jobs. That's it.
Yeah, I think that, I mean,
Yeah.
that was the purpose of getting into all this too. Like, I wanted to help people, and I knew that we would have our shot one day. We meaning like brown people, POC, like, and I just knew that we would get taken advantage of first.
Yeah.
And I have no qualms about saying that, like, sometimes our own people will be the ones that will take advantage of us first. And so I wanted to make sure I had the knowledge so that I could help people when we got that shot.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I am doing that. I do that all the time. It's why I've been able to, be on certain projects and like things outside of work and whatnot, because people come seek me out now, which
Yeah.
is really cool for help. And I'm more than happy to talk to anybody who, like, if somebody DMs me or if people LinkedIn message me, things like that, and they'll just be like, hey, can I get some time to talk to you or whatever. And I'm always happy to do that, because
Yeah.
that was the point of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
It's
opening
otherwise-
doors for
yeah.
other people.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that's
it's a very
it.
lonely road.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah.
I believe in my taste level. I believe that there is an underserved group of people who constantly think they're being represented, but in my mind, they are not, because I
Yeah.
can kind of see it from inside the companies. And I can see that, like, yeah, there isn't, very much representation. I don't think there will be, because there's a strong power does not cede power. Like, that's
Yeah.
not how that works. You just have to create your own thing and keep putting people on.
Yeah.
And that's
build your own little ecosystem.
yeah,
really.
that's what I'm here for. Like, I want good people, but I also, like, I understand how this system works. So
I love that. And I mean, I feel like the landscape is also changing so much, right? People are figuring themselves out. They're like, oh, we did something, but we want to be in film or entertainment, whatever that may be. What would you say to emerging artists, filmmakers, like if they want to strategically position themselves in this ever-changing landscape, like what should they be focusing on? Especially because you've been in all different realms of entertainment, right? So love to hear that perspective.
I always think, like, what's paramount to me is that you tell your story. Don't let it be sanitized by somebody else. I think, like, I don't know. That's like my biggest thing. I'm always like, I want to make sure that we have the ability to, we are in control of our own destinies. We're in control of our own story. It's not that when we bring something somewhere, it gets death by committee.
Yeah.
And death by committee of people who don't actually have a relationship to what this is. So that's what I think is, like, stay true to that. And then I also just think, like, it's very important to not fall victim to this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
That is what people will tell you, including, again, our own people, like, until they're blue in the face, they will say, that's just the way it is. You got to sign this. You got to do this. You fucking don't. Like, you
You can fight.
you
Yeah.
can, and it doesn't even have to be a fight. It can be a conversation. You are allowed to ask questions.
I think that's your legal background coming,
Like-
because he's always, I mean, obviously he's done all my contracts and stuff. And I think one of the biggest things is, like, I probably would have been screwed over way more had he not taken a look
Yeah.
at all this. He's given pro bono work he's done pro bono work for so many of our artist friends. One of our collaborators, he actually took a look at her management contract, which was awful, and it allowed her to seek new management. Things like that are really important because that's somebody who's in the industry, who's fighting every day for the rate that she gets paid and the credits that she gets, And so on a more like day-to-day thing, if I'm talking to somebody who's like really young, I would say there are way more kids these days that I see going to film school and, music school, which is incredible. So what I didn't have the ability to do and also didn't like think through this is like do all the free work when you're young. When you're in your 20s, like you have protection. You don't have to like, it really does get harder.
Yeah.
It gets harder to sustain a living.
You have more things to lose.
You have
as you
so
get
much
older.
more to lose. Your time is not the same anymore.
Yeah.
Spend your time doing all of, like, if you want to be in film, like be a PA and go and do all of the things and then pick up a camera, right? Even if it's a crappy camera. We have one of the guys who was an actor for Saltwater. He created a film festival amongst his friends. It's a 3-day film festival and everyone comes to gather and they create together in 3 days and all like they're in little groups and they present their short films.
I love that.
I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
it's really cool.
yeah.
for nothing
cool idea.
besides an experience, right? Like we didn't have those communities. There are groups of people now. There is support. I see musicians who have other musician friends. I did not have musician friends.
Yeah.
It was like
I
just
still don't have.
so like don't be afraid and literally go do stuff because God, by the time you're 30, you're going to have such a wealth of experience. The confidence is also another thing. By doing those things, you just get more confident. It just gets easier and easier. It got easier for me now.
Yeah.
I used to think I was like behind, but I think that's just my story nowadays. There are people coming out of like high school. On our set of Portrait, our script supervisor was a high school student. I think that was the most incredible thing ever. I was a script supervisor at the age of 26, I think.
Yeah.
I think she was 16 or 17.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like go do real things. And then when you get an opportunity, don't cower, tell your story. Don't let people sanitize it.
Yeah.
I also think like one thing that I think is also paramount and that like I can get really abrasive about is like there is no shame in having a job and also pursuing your creative art. There is no shame in that. I've felt and that took me a long time to get to. I felt so like as if I was a traitor for having a job while also doing this creative stuff. I felt that I'm not a creative. I'm not creative enough. That job is what has allowed me to do all this creative stuff. And I remember reading a book once that's been lost to just fucking time. I wish I remembered where it was, where this guy had said the most successful people are not the ones who go 100% into something. It's the people who have that secure, like sort of stable thing happening. Meanwhile, they're burning that midnight oil to do something creative. And they find that moment when the reward outweighs the risk to go 100%. But if you go 100% in and you think that is what makes you creative, A, I just think that that's wrong. And B, that is how you, no disrespect, end up a waiter. And that is how you will feel stressed trying to create your art. I feel no stress creating my art. Zero stress.
Anymore.
When somebody tells me they don't want to finance my shit, I say, I don't give a fuck. I can finance it myself.
Yeah.
That is powerful. It takes a lot.
And you didn't always feel this way.
I didn't always feel this way. I had to get here. But it's like, I just think it's another perspective that really gets lost on people. More power to you if you go 100% into something. I'm just saying for people to still keep feeding this lie that you have to do that, otherwise you're not creative, is so dangerous.
Yeah.
It's so fucking dangerous. And the only thing that doing it this other way that I'm talking about takes is your dedication.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to work that job and also do this other shit.
The self-awareness to
I think
know
that's
if you're able to be that person. Because I think you just really have to like face yourself and say, can I do both? And am I willing to be this tired always? Because it's not fun all the time.
You're going to be
All these-
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I know even on my like social media, as honest of a person as I am with what I've been through. What people are seeing are the red carpets and the events and the premieres and all this stuff. And I mean, they're not seeing like everything else. You know, this is not a new thing. This is
Yeah.
not a new concept.
Yeah,
Everyone
Ria's
talks about
gone
this.
100% in, you know? So it's not me saying like
Yeah.
disrespectfully,
But
like,
I've
oh,
also
you shouldn't do
struggled.
that shit.
Yeah.
A lot.
She's also struggled.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah.
like there is a danger in telling people that's the only way.
Yeah.
She knew when was the right moment to go 100% in, and it
Mhm.
has paid dividends.
I think
Yeah.
people didn't even know that I was a teacher at a school for a really long time.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked at a school in Jersey for a very long time. And during the pandemic, while my friends had to apply for grants because Broadway shut down and everything shut down, I actually was able to work
Yeah.
because it was an enrichment school. So we got permission. It was like small cohorts and small groups. I worked that entire summer and I was able to shift entirely into my job so that I could like,
She
there's
bought me a TV.
I bought you a TV.
She bought me a TV.
Oh.
There
It
was
really
a-
nice.
There's another
Very nice of
reality
her.
aspect of this that
That was a broke bitch.
yeah, we were so broke back then. There's another aspect of this that's like, I think I didn't realize till I got older, which is there is a huge difference when you have family support.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think for a long time, I was just like, everyone's as broke as me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I was like, everyone comes from the place I come from. I did not realize that. And for a while, it made me bitter. And as I got older, I was like, listen, power to you if you have family support. But again, self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing that you don't want to always rely on them. Family support is supposed to be an aid, not the final
Means to do
answer.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I was able to sit back, why do Nepo babies have an easier time? Because they're not worried about bills,
Mm.
right? And so they're able to full on go in 100% into whatever it is that they're doing. Now, do you get used to that? That's on you,
Yeah.
you know? And so these are the things that I thought about as I got older. And I was like, if you have that family support, that's an advantage. Take that and then prove your worth with it.
Yeah, it's
If
like
you-
being on a trampoline, right? Like you have
Yeah.
that base and then you jump forward. from
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
You just have to be realistic about what you're.
Absolutely.
Some people like just hide the shit.
Yeah.
Or
Right,
they-
yeah.
Or they're not understanding that
Yeah.
like they had a safety. net.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just
Yeah.
if you're realistic.
And
Yeah.
look, life is, I think what I wish my parents had always told me, I'm okay. Life is not fair. We are
Mhm.
not all actually created equal. And that is just the way it is. So you
Yeah.
got to find your strengths and how to move forward.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think my only 2 cents is that if you have the opportunity to be strategic about what you're choosing your financial means to be, like try and do it in a way that is fulfilling your creative side as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because like as someone who was in corporate like literally 2 months ago, it like drained me and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
fulfilling my creative
Correct.
side at all.
Absolutely.
Like I didn't have the
Yeah.
time, my
if
emotion.
you don't have the energy, then
I did
Mhm.
not have the energy.
Exactly,
So like
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to be strategic about it and not
Yes.
like go through a burnout.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I feel very blessed that I have like the job that I
Yeah.
have that allows, and I've gotten it to a place.
Yeah.
I think if I was at like one of the jobs that I had before, I don't think I'd be able to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also being like
Yes.
transparent with like the company you are with. Like here's like what I love to do and here's what I'm doing outside of my
Right.
9 to 5 so that they give
Yeah.
you that liberty to like go and experience life to its fullest.
Yeah.
That's the most
Yeah.
novel thing I've experienced with this job too. I have like my bosses know what I do all
Exactly.
the way up the chain,
Yeah.
and
Which
they're
was never
like,
the case.
which was
Yeah.
never the case, and they're just like very supportive
Yeah.
of all of it, which
That's-
I've never
That's
experienced.
the
in my
that's the
life.
blessing, honestly. That truly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like as you guys were starting out and then like it's been a decade now, how did you price yourselves and negotiate for what you're worth?
I'm worth nothing. That is how I still price myself.
As a musician, because we don't necessarily have like standard numbers, it was
Yeah.
very, very hard.
You did a good job with it though.
I
Like
think
with all
now,
the composing stuff
now,
and whatnot, like
yes.
building it from the ground up.
Yeah.
yeah. When I
Hats
was an
off to her.
artist, I will tell you this: being an artist, I am still an artist, but I don't perform the way that I used to before.
Yeah.
In the beginning stages of my career, I was only performing. I was still writing, and I still write for movies now as well. But being a composer has really shifted my career in a way that I did not know I needed. I did not imagine myself as a composer because I don't come from Western classical training. I don't have like the proper training of how to play piano, and I don't make Indian music.
Mhm.
So that felt like I was behind in some way. So I never really called myself a composer. Actually, AR was the one who was just like, "You composed that song, right?" I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, but it's
Mhm.
just on guitar." And he was like, "It's still composing." And that simple sentence was like eye-opening for me. So when I was an artist, I struggled a lot more because I think artists are just expected to collaborate all the time. The price of South Asian artists was, again, we're talking like 7-8 years ago.
And that's definitely our own folks taking
That was
advantage.
our own folks,
You
yeah.
should be fucking ashamed of yourself. But
Yeah, I was
you
getting,
never will be. So.
I was getting prices and, you know, the age old, like, it's exposure. And I was like, guys, I literally, like, I hate to say this, but I literally work with AR. So what exposure are you giving me?
Can you reveal the numbers?
Oh my God, yes. It's going to be embarrassing. When I first started to perform, at the low end, I would get offered $75.
That's insane.
Yeah.
For like a set with a small band.
That's
And
insane.
they would always be like, that's all we can do. You shouldn't throw the event then.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do the event then if you can't pay people properly.
At the
That's
most, I think it was like 500.
Because you're doing it for your own ego.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
At the most, I think it was
500.
around 500. As a composer, the numbers are way, way different. Of course, when I like started to compose, I was already quite a few years into my career. When I mean compose, I've been always composing, but when I started to actually compose for film and actually get the real jobs, I went backwards into being like, look, I don't have that, like, I don't have a reel yet, so I need to do what I got to do. That quickly went from like a $300 job to like a $20,000 job. And so, and by quickly, I mean in a few years, but that progress, I did not have that progress as an artist.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the market looks like for South Asian artists right now. And I guess I say South Asian, but I wasn't doing South Asian music.
Right.
It's just that inevitably we got pigeonholed.
It's artists in general.
Yeah,
They're
it's artists in
They
general.
don't
Yeah.
get paid what they're supposed to get.
Yeah.
Like they really don't.
But
All
now
artists.
I also, you know, community was also lacking back then. I have gone out to find peers in this space now. We talk about it. We're kind of transparent about it. I think there is, when you don't have the experience, yes, people are going to ask you to do stuff.
Yeah.
But at the time, I remember thinking like, I have like Netflix credits. And, you know, that's part of like the lack of confidence that I've always had, because no one really ever was like, oh yes, look at your accolades. We will pay you accordingly. They were like, that's it. And so how does that feed your own view of yourself? You don't look at that and go, I'm worth that. You just go, well, I guess I'm still at square one.
Yeah.
You know, but imagine if someone had been like, no, look at your accolades. I'm going to pay you accordingly. What that would have done for my self-esteem.
Yeah.
I had to build that on my own now. And now I like tell them, I'm like, this is what the rate is.
Yeah.
If you can't afford it, that's fine.
I think we need
Yeah.
to build a community where we talk about artists not just being passionate because they are
Correct.
like, you know, in the creative space, but
I'm
how
passionate
to-
about my food as well and like how to
Exactly.
pay for it. And
Exactly.
I like
right.
food a lot. So I want to eat a lot of meals and that costs a lot of money. So
yeah. How do you be
yeah.
profitable in this space? To like, honestly, like that's the whole goal of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think like, when you think about it, there are movies like blockbuster movies that bomb.
Mhm.
There are TV shows that get canceled after one season. So for anyone to say they have the answer to how this works, and I think that's the start.
Yeah.
For any like real companies that are out there haven't figured it out,
Mm-hmm.
especially in entertainment. In
Yeah.
entertainment, I think it's just the Wild West, like whether it's music, movies, TV, whatever. They're just throwing shit at the wall. These companies are just legacy companies that have, you know, a catalog or that have funding and they can take these swings.
Yeah.
And every so often, it works.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But like they fail a lot,
Yeah.
a ton.
Mhm.
So I think that's the conversation, is to just be like, and that's what got us started in doing Mom and Intimate too. Like, is when I was working at some of these companies and just seeing, they just take risks. That's
Yeah.
it. And no
Yeah.
one gets fired at the end.
Mm-mm.
They just, you know, I don't know. I would get fired because I'm not white, but they don't get fired ever, and they just take risks and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
can't we do that?
Yeah.
We've
you
never
know?
been given that grace, I think,
Mhm.
right? Like, I think we've had to work like 3-4 times as hard
Yeah.
to be given the same kind of grace. And so it's built into our minds that if we're not perfect, we're going to lose out on the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also
Meanwhile-
the South Asian mentality, right?
Yes.
Like you have to achieve for the best. Otherwise, it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
But like he said, entertainment in itself is a risk.
Mm-hmm.
These are all just like risks that people are just betting on you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And all these films that have investors. A24 is a huge example for us because we love A24 and that's like kind of our like mission in our mind. And A24's history is they had like some really rich people fund their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had funding.
And
you know
like,
what I mean?
look
And
at where they
that's what
are.
it
Look
is.
at the risks that those people took. They bet it on them. And if that bet didn't work out, it's just a missed investment,
Yeah.
right?
And it's a multi-year bet.
yeah.
Like those first films that they did, you don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows what they were.
I just
right?
saw a video of Post Malone, like his first video that he ever released, and it's like nothing compared to the music
Yeah.
he makes now.
Yeah.
So it's like, just do it.
You should
Have you
see
ever-
Central C too.
Yeah.
Like his stuff that is
Yeah.
the way he morphed into what he is now
Yeah.
is crazy. There's very few people I think who
Yeah.
just like start.
Yeah.
figuring out
Correct.
that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Have you guys seen like the clips of Jonas Brothers that are
Oh my
going
gosh.
around? And we're just like, who bet on these guys? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You saw
Yeah.
that One Direction clip of them dancing? The
Yes.
I have
rehearsal?
not
Yes,
seen this one.
This
yeah.
is the word. These guys are the most
It's crazy.
uncoordinated. They make me feel good about
Yeah,
myself. And
it's
it's
crazy.
Zayn Malik.
And
Oh
they
my
became like
gosh, yeah.
heartthrobs,
They
right?
became
Yeah,
heartthrobs. They are so
absolutely.
uncoordinated.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
atrocious.
Yeah.
Everyone
It's
has
awesome.
a
It's great.
growth, and I think we're just like living in this age where we're expected to see perfection immediately.
Mhm.
It's gotten to me a lot too. Like I say all these wonderful things now because I've learned from it, but God, it sucks when you're in that moment and you have to feel like you have to fight against and compete against that.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, going back to you, Kunal, since we're talking about, starting and doing things, there's this whole legal battle, right? You create music and you want it to be on these big platforms. And when you want it to be on these big platforms, you have to be signed on by record labels and big companies. And there's so many words and like jargon, honestly, that you don't understand. As someone who sits at the intersection of entertainment and law, what do you think are the legal blind spots that artists should be aware of when they're signing away power? What should they be looking for, especially like red flags?
Sure. Well, so I think like nowadays the benefit now is that you don't have to be signed, right, to get onto any of these platforms. You can.
Mhm.
Whether once you're on these platforms like a Spotify or Apple, you get visibility.
Yeah.
That's probably what the label and the relationships are doing. But you can people are uploading shit
Yeah.
all day, right? So like you can put stuff up there. But in terms of what people should look out for, music also is like the wildest of the Wild West.
Yeah.
So much of it is just done on a handshake, and so much of it is like music lawyers themselves, of which I am not one, but I did it for a little bit. But music lawyers themselves will tell you that they're just making it up.
Mhm.
They have no idea. Like, especially when it comes to calculating royalties, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
Mm.
Nobody has any idea. They're just randomness going on. So I think the only thing you can protect yourself, the only thing you should be looking out for is understanding that, especially early on in your career, this sucks. You will get fucked.
Mm.
You will. Like, you're going to sign something. You're going to sign you're going to have to be part of something probably. And I know I said earlier in the conversation, you shouldn't listen to anybody who says that's just the way it is. But like maybe this is one of the instances where it kind of is like that. It is because you have no leverage.
Mm.
If you're a new artist who has leverage, okay, then you can do everything.
Yeah.
But to create that leverage, you kind of have to put some stuff out there in the market. And the name of the game now, I suppose, is like flood the market,
Mm.
so that something takes off and you get that leverage. I just think it's important that you read your contract, that you know what's there. The amount of times people just don't even do that. Like they just don't read.
Yeah.
So at least you know, okay, I'm going to get screwed. This is how much I'm going to get screwed and for how long.
The how long is important.
The how long.
Mm.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
because
like,
there's always like clauses about the amount of time something lasts. And I
Yeah.
think that's
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. Just know what is in that contract you're signing, know how long it's for, know how they're going to use like your music, how broad that scope is, know like how they're going to market you. Are they going to market you? Like, is there a marketing commitment? Like, are you just paying for everything? Like, it frustrates me to no avail when I see like, and of course I see South Asian artists, when I see them staring at billboards of themselves in Times Square, and I'm like, that's coming out of your fucking budget.
Mm.
Like, you should
Yeah,
not
you have
be
to pay
so
back.
excited about this. This is like, it's cool, it's great. I guarantee you that's coming out of your budget.
Mm.
And I wish you knew better.
Yeah.
That's all, So it's hard to say like specifically what people need to look out for. I just think overall they just have to be more knowledgeable,
Yeah.
and sometimes even something like having the right attorney.
Yeah.
Don't just go to your friend and be like, can you just do this?
I think most
Like,
people don't do that.
Most people don't seek out somebody who's knowledgeable.
I think it goes back to affordability though, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are so scared to invest in an attorney and again, not understand anything and put that sort of
Right.
trust in someone. So how would you say like one goes about finding the right attorney and then also do AI tools really help in figuring out laws like ChatGPT and like you said, Chat Gupta?
Chad Gupta is my boy. I think it is. I think that for that second part, yeah, it's an AI is like a cheat code for
Mhm.
giving you a place to start.
Yeah.
It gives you a great jump off point. Do I think that can do everything for you? Absolutely not. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But it gives you
But
more knowledge than
It
we had
gives you
before.
more knowledge than you had before, and it gives it to you quick, and it makes you feel like you're talking to somebody, which
Yeah.
I think that's the important part. Because anyone could point you to books and be like, go read that and figure it out. No, but like I just want to type questions,
Yeah.
have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's what's the powerful part about it. And it's a good jump off point. To find a good attorney, I think is like Google.
Yeah.
Like, and ask people, like ask friends. Don't be afraid to ask. Like, who do you use? Do you not use anybody? Like,
Yeah.
that's how you figure it out. Or look
Transparency,
for
yeah.
people like me, to be honest, who you could probably find my profile out there and see that I've been on podcasts or that I've talked about things, and that I would be more than happy to tell you this is where you should go.
Yeah.
Or this is how you should. There are other people like me. Like, I'm not special. And so that kind of exists there. And I do understand the affordability part of it. I definitely get that. I just This is probably because it's my lived experience is you you have to find a way to afford it.
Yeah.
You just do. You just
It's
do.
the thing you need
find
to
a way
invest in.
you find a way to afford, your music videos. You find a way to afford other things. Just put a little bit of money aside. And a lot of these attorneys, they'll work with you.
Yeah.
A lot of these people will work with you, to understand what to do. I just think it's really that important because then at least somebody can read the contract for you. They can tell you if there's something super egregious.
Mhm.
Like I said, you're probably going to get screwed regardless, right? There's not a whole lot you can do in the beginning, but at least they can tell you
Yeah.
if there's something super egregious, and they can make you feel comfortable that like this is what you're signing.
Yeah.
And that's important. You go into it with your eyes open.
Mhm.
To
I think
give
that's
a
great perspective. Yeah. Absolutely.
Small example, when you are a singer songwriter, obviously there's like shared percentages, right? And early on in my career, even if I wrote like the entire thing, depending on who was in the room, I would not get the majority of the percentage.
Mhm.
That's just what it is though. Like if I'm writing for AR, I'm not getting 100%. However, you have to decipher like what is the opportunity here? Is that song gonna lead me to the next one? Probably, right? I wrote with AR and Bishop Briggs, but I think I got like the least royalties there. However, that still lasts for the rest of my life. That was 6-7 years ago. It would look different today. So am I okay with that?
Yeah.
At that time I was, right? And that's okay because these are two like huge stars that I would love to write with and continue working with. And
Absolutely.
I have, and
Yeah.
my respect and collaboration with AR has increased over time where we've become like the two sole writers. I never had like a side-by-side credit with him until like 2-3 years ago.
That's wild.
I remember when it came up on iTunes, it said AR Rahman and Rianjali. And I was like, oh shit. No one told me that was going to happen, So
Yeah.
like you have to sort of weigh it out.
Yeah.
You can't there's a fine balance between asking for the world and knowing that you're getting fully screwed over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's opportunity cost at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I've told I said it in the conversation earlier that like you shouldn't listen to those people who say that. And I'm sure there will be people who will be like, no, know your worth and do that. And I'm
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. If
Mhm.
that's your method of doing it, then do that. Do it
Yeah.
that way. I just think this is the balanced sort of practical way of going about it. And eventually you will know when you can take that
Correct.
position
Mhm.
and be like, yeah, no, fuck that. This is my worth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now I can do it.
I love that. Yeah. Well, awesome. I'm gonna move on to my favorite round, which is called Spill the Chai.
Yeah.
It's basically rapid fire. It's 5 questions,
Mhm.
and whatever comes first to mind, you guys say it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Either of us?
No, both of you.
Oh, both of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay, spill the chai. First question. Imagine your life together as a Bollywood film. What's the title?
Oh my God.
Nafrat.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yes.
Oh my God. Why?
I just knew the word. That's all.
That's
It's
mine
the first
would
word
be-
that came to mind.
mine would be-
Nafrat Ali Khan.
Billy's.
Billy's.
Because-
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Billy's. Yeah. Billy's.
Not Billy's.
Could be two
Billy's.
of us.
Billy's.
Oh, yeah,
The
right.
cats,
correct.
Billy's.
Yeah, Billy's.
Oh, man.
Okay, who's more mild-mannered and who's secretly more timid when it comes to pitching ideas or negotiating budgets?
Ooh.
Whoa. It's got to be rapid fire too, right?
I think I was before.
Yeah, I think you're good.
He never was like timid about that stuff, but I was before. I no longer really am though.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
This or that, accidentally leaking an unreleased song snippet or spoiling the climax of your upcoming short film on IG Live.
Wait, say that one more time.
This or that.
Oh, this or that. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
this or that, accidentally leaking an unreleased song snippet or spoiling the climax of your upcoming short film on Instagram Live.
Accidentally leaking
Song snippet.
Song snippet.
Yeah?
For
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be
Okay.
cool.
That's fun.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's fucking see what happens.
Artists love to leak their own shit.
Leaking.
Who did that?
Oh,
I have
no, where'd
no
it come
idea.
Yeah.
Love that stuff.
Oh, I love that. Well, actually, on that note, can you leak a little bit of your upcoming album?
Oh.
Like play something from it.
No, sing something. Do it live.
Oh God, no. Hell no. There's no way. I don't even have. Honestly, though, I don't even have most of it memorized.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it yet. Like,
Okay.
and I'm
do
very
you have
like
it on your anything
trash
on
at
your
Yeah,
I
any on your
do.
phone? Yes,
I
leak it.
do. I would love to have. I would. Yeah.
Do a
okay,
little.
fine.
Oh no!
Yeah,
How
do
did
a
this
little-
leak? Oh my
God.
God.
Don't be too close.
Eyes open, eyes wide, done hoping, done trying. Eyes open, eyes wide. We ain't waiting for a sign, it's our time.
This was like
Eyes
off the
open,
top of my head,
eyes
which is
wide,
to me impressive of myself
Wow.
because I don't generally.
eyes open,
Really,
eyes wide. We ain't waiting for a sign, it's our time. Now run for the money, run for the money.
so that's that.
Damn.
It's very
okay.
like Kanye resembling.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really cool. This
Yeah.
shit is so hard. It's the like.
Also, he allowed me to sing on one of them recently.
yeah, I'm still waiting for the other one for you to sing.
Thanks.
Just gonna
I'm a
take
little
your
busy
time.
right now.
Yeah, it's just cool because there's like different things. Like I don't know. There's a. This is a. Like it's very. There's an Indian something to
Love
it.
that.
Yeah. So we were just taking shit like this and.
I'm here to win by
Yeah.
seeing good acting. Waiting on y'all only got me in action. Star this show,
And I started rapping in Gujarati. You bastard. That's what I said there.
You're so
It's
good.
It's really cool. It's like it's cool. I didn't.
There's like
think
an
I
old
would-
school vibe to it.
didn't
I
think
love
would make
it.
a
Oh
lot
my
of
gosh,
stuff
I can't
like
wait
this.
for this
Yeah.
album
It's
to
cool.
drop.
Thank you.
I cannot wait. What is
Yeah.
it? Can you tell us what it's called?
Yeah. I'm calling it Dreams We Were Owed. That's the
Okay.
name of the album. Because I definitely think at this juncture in my life, this is a dream that I was owed,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna try.
It's very
and-
fitting for
try
the
and make it so.
episode too. Awesome. That was actually awesome. I think it's my favorite like spill the chai round.
Nice.
Fourth question. If you could work with A.R. Rahman again, what would your next dream collab be?
I think now at this point, I have been able to have like duets with him and like lead solos with him. I think now I would love to like co-compose with him, and that's not something he really does. He like really doesn't do that. He'll hire me for writing and singing like full-on songs. I've done like where it's just entirely me, but if I've been able to, he's sent me like his sessions, which is like also not a thing that he normally does, or hasn't with me in the past. It's an ability to like see his work on the session. You know what I mean? So I think the next step would be like co-composing with him on like a movie, which
Oh,
would be
damn. Yeah.
insane.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Even if it wasn't like the full movie, but to do like a full solid few things within the movie, like he doesn't do that with
Yeah.
people. So I don't know if that's possible, but yeah.
Or manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really funny if I could actually get him to make a rap song for me.
Yeah.
Mostly, he's just like, Kelly, rap on this, and like that'll just be like I'll just rap on something he created, but it's not a rap song. But I think
Wow.
it would be fucking hilarious to be like, this is my rap single produced by AR.
Mm.
So funny.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you see that happening on this album?
Not on this one.
Yeah.
And I've honestly never really asked him about it. I think I could. I'm
Just
pretty sure I
ask
could.
him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I've
Just
asked
do
him
it.
other
Yeah.
stupid things.
As for your mantra, just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So I think I could definitely ask him and just be like, can't put that on my album. That'd be fun.
Okay. Yay. I love that. This is my favorite question, actually. You each have 10 seconds to hype up the other. The best compliment wins.
Oh, what the
Whoa.
hell?
When does the timer start?
Wait, can you actually man the timer?
Oh
Yes.
shit. Okay.
Set. Go.
Okay. Relentless in all of his pursuits, goes hard for all his friends, but also could be the polar opposite if he doesn't like you. Very, very dedicated.
Oh,
Is that wow?
10 seconds.
That was 10
Wow,
seconds.
that's good.
Okay.
10
Okay,
seconds
not
is
bad.
quite fast.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
fast.
Ready?
Yeah.
Gosh, the right thing.
Rhea is that bitch. When I tell you she is that bitch, you bitches have nothing on her. And I have said this for over a decade. If she really wanted to flex, she would fucking murder all of you.
Oh my
You're
God.
lucky she
It's
does
done.
not.
It's done.
There we go. Okay,
It's
sorry.
done. Jesus
That's
Christ.
it.
So about the aggression, you can
Sorry.
see the abrasiveness.
That's
He
what
goes,
it's
"All right,
been, though.
ready,
I've
go."
never changed. It's been that.
I'm sorry, but
That's it.
Kunal wins this round.
I agree.
I'll take that.
That was epic. Oh,
Oh
my
my
gosh.
God.
Hype queen.
Type queen.
He's very, I'm very just like, not political, but I'm very like proper about it. And he's like, yo, fuck you. You don't know what she's about. I'm like, oh my God, you're scaring me. Jesus.
Oh my God. Have you ever been on a call of like when she's negotiating something and like the other person has just outright saying the most nonsense stuff and you know that Rhea deserves more and you've like jumped in? Has that ever happened?
No, so we haven't done it via call, but
Mhm.
I've done it via email.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
via email.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
jumped in and be like, let's just set this straight right
Oh,
here
yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Uh,
It's actually not a thing I enjoy either.
Yeah.
It's interesting because to be an attorney, you have to be adversarial, I think,
Mhm.
like just by virtue of what it is. I hate that.
mm.
I don't like doing
Don't
that.
like conflict.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
conflicting with people.
Conflict.
And like I closed deals recently where I was being so nice, right?
Yeah.
Like my boss was saying, he's like, you did this so fast with like multi-billion-dollar companies. Like I just did some deals. And the way that I did it so quickly, and my boss was
with
impressed.
kindness.
And he's like a guy that's been practicing for a long time. I respect this dude. He's a beast. And he was like, you just did that by just like talking to them. And I was like,
Crazy.
yeah, I
How
don't
we can
know.
just
Like I'd
be normal.
rather just be nice and tell
Yeah.
you, look, this is what I think it is.
Yeah.
But if you fuck with me, I will
Mm.
kill you. Like that's just what
see,
it
that's
is.
the
Isn't that what I
clip.
said?
That's how this podcast is going to start.
Yeah.
If you fuck with me, I'll kill you.
I think
Oh
that's
my
Oh,
God.
I love that. This was my favorite spill the chai round so far. I love it.
Amazing.
We're moving on to like the last part of the podcast,
Yeah.
which is a moment for you to reflect on everything that you've done so far and then also this conversation. And so if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self? Rhea, I'll let you go first.
I think I would try and be less afraid. Obviously, many things in my own life led to that point. Like there were just circumstances out of my control, but I think I would try more things. I would open my mind up. I would try and have like more. I don't know how you have more confidence, but just the confidence to try things.
Yeah.
I did a lot of that in my like mid to late 20s. And that was really cool, you know, but it was a little odd sometimes, like watching my peers like make their 6-figure salaries while I was just like trying things for the first time. And so I wish I just had a little bit more space to play when I was
Yeah.
younger.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I guess like reflecting on this conversation and our career so far, I think I say this all the time. I'm grateful because I never actually like positioned myself here. I didn't think that I was going to get here. In my mind, there was no sort of manifestation. I know a lot of people like to say like, since I was young, I knew that I could be this. I didn't know what I could be.
Yeah.
And so this has been a decade-long like process. And not only while I was doing cool things, I was also just like figuring out who the hell I am, which is why it just took me a little bit longer, you know,
Yeah.
like I'll never forget, like I was Oscar shortlisted once. And I remember recently somebody was like, well, doesn't that mean you're going to get Oscar nominated? And I was like, absolutely not. Like this world is so uncertain. I'm grateful that I was Oscar shortlisted. Is it a goal of mine? Absolutely. Now I do this manifestation. By manifestation, I just like bust my ass. That's my version of manifestation. But when I was Oscar shortlisted, it was so not in my radar. I remember we were eating jalapeno poppers and
correct.
we were sitting in the living room in our old apartment and I saw it. I showed it to Kunal because it's on the official Academy website. And then we just like went back to normal because I couldn't process it.
Mm.
When you're not like prepared for the wins, it's really hard to,
Yeah.
I guess, acknowledge them. Now I'm just like ready because I feel at this age, I feel like more ready than ever and more confident than ever. I've like fully leaned into like who I am, the leadership skills that I possess, the power that I think I do have. I think to Kunal's point, like I am talented, but I'm also a decent person.
Yeah.
And so I will never be that person who's going to screw you over. I'm going to be smart about my decisions. If it doesn't fit me, like that's not going to be something I do, but I'm not going to screw you over. And I think that's the best case scenario. And if I don't win with those two qualities, then the whole world is messed up. Like it's not going to be on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so well said. What about you?
I think I would have told my younger self to not let the bitterness consume me. And I think Rhea got me past a lot of that. But that's definitely it. Like I
Yeah.
was very much like, I'm such a happy person. I was not before, and
Yeah.
I was bitter about a lot of things and why things didn't work out and whatever. And that's not the right way to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so much more free
Yeah.
now in terms of my creativity and what I do.
Yeah.
And all it took was just removing that.
Yeah. I love that.
Life sometimes looks different than maybe what you had envisioned, but that does not mean that you're not a success.
Yeah.
Just means you need glasses.
Correct. Check your vision.
And with all the work that you guys have done and continue to do, what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
As a musician, I definitely want to be a powerful female composer. I don't see a lot of female composers, let alone South Asian women that are
You are.
composers.
Yeah.
want
Yeah,
to
no,
be.
I am.
Exactly.
But to be even more, right?
There
To
you go.
actually
Yeah, sure.
have like I envision myself, what AR has, what that's allowed me to do is dream of myself being in that position, which was never the case before. And when it comes to our film work, as I mentioned before, like I really do see us as, I used to like focus on South Asian multimedia, but I think like we're just going to be, we're very innately and inherently going to be supporting South Asian talent and just people of color in general. But we want to stop being pigeonholed. That's been a battle that I've had my entire career. I still sometimes do. I don't make South Asian music. I can, but that's not my forte. If you don't look at my face, my music can be from anyone else, right? And so that's a big battle that I've had, and I want to really just I want to represent just by you looking at me and going like, oh, she is brown and she's in that space, not to just tell South Asian stories. I think we need to get past that little bubble. And I think our film production stuff is absolutely doing that. And I'd like to leave a legacy very similar to A24, where there's just really, really great stories being told that are actually also making money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me, the legacy I want to leave is that like people came to me, said, I want to do this, and I helped them do it. That's always been my goal. I just want to be able to push the button for people who feel that they have something they need to tell, whether that's you want to write a book, you want to make a film, you want to make music. I don't care, whatever it is, like I hope that I would be that person that facilitated other people's dreams, because I don't think I had that.
That's so powerful. Yeah.
Had that. And so I think that would be cool. And I do want my kid one day to be on a set or something and see me doing stuff and not think of me as boring.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think sometimes you can get like lost in all the goals and stuff. And I've realized that lately. And so finding your pieces of like just peace, and I think peace is very underrated in this space. Like a lot of anxiety from what am I not doing? Comparing yourself, looking at other people. Am I missing out on an event? Am I having FOMO because I'm not there? Am I going to be forgotten because I'm gone for a month? Just like calming those voices in your head, trusting that what you're doing. What has been both Kunal and I, what's been something that people have definitely mentioned is it's been a decade. We've seen a round of peers and collaborators fall off.
Yeah.
We have not quit. That's why it's been a decade. Time is such a blessing to us in this situation. It has not only proven to others, but also to us that we will not quit despite the burnouts and emotional responses that we've had to a lot of different things. So it can only really get better from here.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. And my last question is really about the podcast also. And it's really about bridging the East and the West and allowing South Asian art and entertainment to be on the center stage. So what advice would you give to the audience and also South Asian filmmakers to help South Asian cinema be on the center stage, not really as a genre and a region, but really as a global force of storytelling?
I think it's starting to happen a little bit. I guess it's a hard thing to say because everything is changing. But I think sometimes we, like I said, we pigeonhole ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, most recently with our experience with Portrait, being able to collaborate with several different kinds of people across the industry who are in their own right really good at what they do, despite, not despite, but like not necessarily of South Asian background.
Yeah.
What was cool to see on set was how many people there were that were of color and others. And so we have to mingle with the world. We have to be able to collaborate with people who don't look like us. We just got to find the right people. So being part of the East Meets West has to be literally that. Like
Yeah.
we can't just be pigeonholing ourselves completely.
Sometimes it'll be them that help you. which is,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
people forget
100%.
that,
I mean,
like,
that's
all skin folk
Yeah.
are not kinfolk.
Yeah.
So I think take yourself seriously. I think that's it. Like that's really the advice. And they already do. Like if I'm giving advice to like the filmmakers, you're making films, so you are taking yourself seriously or whatever. But really just take yourself seriously. Like you deserve to be there. You are no less worthy of being there than anybody else. And we come from a long tradition of doing this. Like
Yeah.
I was just watching an interview where Wes Anderson is he is inspired by Satyajit Ray.
Mm.
That I had no idea.
Yeah.
I literally had no idea that this man is watching his films. So fuck all that nonsense. Like you're supposed to be there. That's you come from this lineage, and like no one should tell you any different. Like why do we start with if it's not in English or if it's not, honestly white people on the screen, then that's something lesser. Why is
Yeah.
that? That doesn't make any sense. It's just that's not even the majority of people. Like we're the majority. What the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like
It's true.
so just take yourself seriously and you have every right to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was such a wonderful conversation. And thank you so much again for being on the podcast. It means so much.
This was
Thanks
a
for
really
having us.
this was a
Yeah.
fun conversation.
This is fun. I liked it.
You were chaos.
Yeah, it's fun. It's so nice.
I loved it. It was so good. It flowed so well and like it was so insightful in like so many ways. But also like just tapping into your journeys.
Yeah.
I think there's always something new I get to learn. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Chai with Chams podcast. If this episode sparked something in you, go follow us, share it with your friends and family, rate it, and subscribe for more. I will see you next week where I sit down with another incredible guest that's bringing South Asian cinema to center stage.